The never-ending story of pain and misery that is the 2026 Seattle Mariners just continues. My oh my. Episode 150, milestone episode of the Light the W podcast starts now.
The pitch from Acevedo.
Swung on the line down the left field line for a base hit.
Fly ball, gap, right center field.
Double him up at second.
Luke is going back to the 1-8 track. Get out the right, run and bust it, grandma. It is grand salami time.
Polanco sends it into right, and will send Seattle to the American League Championship Series for the first time in 24 years.
As always, Mahal Domingo Anderson with you, and the Seattle Mariners have been swept at the hands of the Kansas City Royals, who have not been a good baseball team this year. Royals entered the weekend at 12-19. They are now 15-19. The Mariners entered the weekend at 500. Me and Jeff were amped up on Friday morning's episode, and here we are, Monday morning, Sunday night. And the Mariners are 16-19, back behind the A's and the Rangers both, and it's just disaster, devastation. I don't know what else to say about this team at this point. I mean, Emerson Hancock has the start of his season, start of his life to celebrate Randy Johnson. Luis Castillo, I don't even care anymore. And the Mariners just, they can't figure out how to win a baseball game. I mean, you lose the series. I mean, you get swept in the series and you lose the games in 3 different ways. It wasn't like there was one aspect of your team that was losing you these ball games. I mean, game 1, it was Brian Wu getting touched around again, giving up 6 earned runs, and Matt Brash being injured didn't help, which meant you had to sort of wait and see if Wu could get through 6 innings. You had to push him, and you had to, take what he was giving you. And what he was giving you was home run after home run after home run, it felt like, once again. And I don't know if it was juiced balls or what was going on, but I mean, a 7-6 ball game that you drop on Friday, you put up enough runs to be able to win that game. Julio Rodriguez has a huge moment, and your bullpen just can't keep it there. You tie the ball game, and Jose Ferrer gives up a run. And I loved what Jose Ferrer's done this season. He got a little bit unlucky in that inning, as he has all the time. But, I mean, that's the Matt Brash role. If Matt Brash is healthy, it's Matt Brash pitching in that game. And, you can question, why is it Ferrer instead of Spire or even Bizardo? But it was Ferrer. He gives up the run, and I mean, the Mariners can't bounce back. They don't score anything in the bottom of the 8th. They don't score anything in the bottom of the 9th. They dropped the game. They dropped game 1. And from then on, it was like, well, you're probably losing this series. You got Castillo starting on Sunday afternoon. And it doesn't feel like you can win a Castillo start right now. And even today, you look at it and it's like, this was a better start for Luis Castillo. But the Mariners put up 1 run. He still gave up 4. It's not a quality start. And it's just overall not good enough. I mean, you put together 3 runs over the course of the last 2 games. And ultimately, that's why you lost the game. Now, you look at the first 2, and that's why you got swept in the series. But you look at the first 2 games, and it's like, well, if your bullpen holds up a little bit stronger, if Munoz can just fucking close out a game, you win Saturday night, and all right, you're heading into a rubber match Sunday instead of you're heading into, can we salvage anything from this series Sunday? But Munoz blows it, and it's just frustrating because your bats aren't really doing what they need to do. Munoz shouldn't have had to be put in that position, but this is a baseball team that's going to play close games. They're going to play 1-run games. And so far this season, it doesn't feel like they can show the ability to win 1-run games. It really doesn't feel that way unless they're playing St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, let's just go look at the season as a whole right now. All right, so you lose the 1-run game against the Royals. You had 2 1-run wins against the Cardinals. What a weird series. A 1-run win against the A's. You lost a 1-run game against the Padres, won a 1-run game against Houston, lost one against the Rangers, lost 1-2 against the Angels, lost the second one against the Rangers, lost one against the Yankees, lost one against Cleveland. I mean, you play a team that understands how to play baseball and you can't win a 1-run game. And that has been the identity of this baseball team in this era of Mariners baseball. The identity of the Seattle Mariners in the 2020s is you put up 2-3 runs, you get a great start from your starting pitcher, like Emerson Hancock did on Saturday night, and you have your bullpen come in, slam the door fucking closed, and you win that ball game by a run. But this Mariners team in 2026 can't manage to do that. And part of that's that Andres Munoz hasn't been the guy you needed him to be. Part of that is that Matt Brash right now is hurt. Part of that's that your lineup hasn't been as good as you need them to be, and you haven't had the clutch hitting that you need them to have. And part of that might be on managing. Part of that's on the manager. Part of the manager's job is to make it so you win those close games. So those games where it's a coin flip, whether or not you win them, you do win them. And you win the coin flip. And instead of it going the Royals' way, it's going the Mariners' way. Instead of going the Rangers' way, it's going the Mariners' way. Instead of it going the Anaheim Angels' way, it's going the Seattle Mariners' way. And that's where you're getting wins from. I mean, you can think about all the 1-run games that I just shouted out. I mean, you win 2 of those games instead of losing them, you're above 500. And you are in second place right now. You win 3 of them, and you're in first place in the American League West. The good news is that this division, the American League in general, sucks booty cheeks. And this is what Jeff and I were talking about on Friday a little bit, was that the door's been left open for this Mariners team. They just have to go walk through the door. They don't have to go run through it. They don't got to slam the door down. You just have to go stroll your way through the door, win a couple baseball games, and you're in freaking first place. It's there for the taking. Just show you freaking want it. Show that you care about baseball games in April and May. Because so far, it's been more of the same. I mean, Julio Rodriguez is having the best start to his season he has had in his career. He could have the best first 2 months of his career if he has a solid May right here. Yet, you've managed to be 3 games below 500 as we sit here, time of recording 7:04 p.m. on Sunday, May 3rd. And is it time to panic? No. But you got a really good Atlanta Braves team that has been really good lately coming into town the beginning of this week. And you've got Logan Gilbert and Brian Wu on the mound, as well as George Kirby. These are the 3 guys you want on the mound. But I have no idea what I'm going to get on the mound from 2 of them. No idea. And that's frustrating. You need the strength of the Seattle Mariners ball club to be its pitching. From the rotation 1 through 5 to the bullpen, from your closer down to the 8th guy out there in the pen. That is the strength of this team. That's the identity of Mariners baseball as we know it. And it sort of feels like they've lost that feel for it. They've lost that touch for, oh, this is our strength. We need to play into it. Right? And part of that's that Luis Castillo isn't the same guy he was 3 years ago. Part of that's that Logan Gilbert has been a really inefficient pitcher thus far. Part of that Brian Wu has had 2 rough starts in a row, and I don't really know what's going on with him. And if he has another bad one Wednesday, then I think that's something me and Jeff are really going to have to talk about and maybe dig into a little bit. But it's just, how do you salvage this homestand right now? How do you win 2 out of 3 of it against Atlanta and somehow manage to have won 2 out of 6 on this homestand. And then you get the White Sox, and you get the Astros, favorable matchups, and you're like, all right, this is an opportunity for us to go strike right now. But if you're 6 games below 500, then you'd have to sweep both those series just to get to 500. And beg pardon, the Astros is a 4 game, so if you swept both of them, you'd be a game above. But then you got the Padres again, who really kicked the Mariners' ass last time they faced them. And then we're already at the middle of May. I mean, the Padres series ends on May 17th. And look, I'm looking far ahead in the future, and who knows what's going to happen right there. But you understand the thinking I'm going through here of, right, each game matters. At the end of the season, it's going to come down to 1-2 games, very likely, because that's what Mariners baseball is. And it starts with Luis Castillo needing to step it up. And look, it was a better start today. By all means, it was a better start. He finished 6 complete innings. Thank you, baseball gods. But he still gave up 4 earned runs. Like, come on, man. I just want a quality start. Just once. One quality start. Like, it was a good enough start where I can't be like, God, he's fucking hurt. Right? You can't be like, well, he's dealing with an arm thing. We gotta IL him. It wasn't good enough of a start where it's like, he's better than Hancock right now. I mean, are any of their 5 guys right now better than what Hancock's been? I mean, the dude just threw 7 innings with, 14 strikeouts? Giving up just 1 run? And they lost the game. And look, I understand. I understand Cal Raleigh, he's dealing with an injury thing, and that's something I'm going to talk about later in this episode. But you have a good enough lineup that you should be able to win these ball games. And look, I understand Victor Robles is hurt. But a Victor Robles injury shouldn't be this fucking catastrophic. Victor Robles injury shouldn't send us to the depths of the Puget Sound. Right? It really shouldn't. But because of the way this team's built, it low-key does. Because you've decided you're platooning 2 positions. 2 of them. Your designated hitter and your right fielder. And look, Julio's defense is a whole other talking point. I don't even want to discuss Julio's defense yet. I think we need to just watch it for a little bit longer, see what's going on. But it's not been fun. It's really not been fun so far this year. And we expect elite level center field play from that man. We expect it. That's what we've come to know. But it's not what he's been. It's not at all. I want to give credit for a second to the bottom third of this Mariners bullpen right now. Specifically, I want to give credit to Cooper Criswell. Because this guy's been really solid for this Mariners team. And he's been exactly what they needed in the middle relief sort of spot. 2.35 ERA this year in 12 appearances. 25% strikeout rate. Look, he's been everything you could have needed and more. Leaving a lot of runners on the base paths. Getting solid ground ball rates. And he'll probably come back to earth a little bit. His xERA, his FIP tell you that much. But in 15 and a third innings this year, Cooper Criswell has been really solid, and he's been what this Mariners team needed. Now, can he continue it? What is he going to do for 162 ball games? Another question. But even, you look at Cole Wilcox, right? He had a couple blow up outings, but he's been overall not awful. Alex Hoppy has had a couple decent outings here in a row. And when he's only, not had to get up and down, Alex Hoppy's been really solid. It's been really solid. The Mariners might have something in a couple of these guys. And that's fun. Yeah, I mean, look, there's upside for this bullpen by all means. There really is. But Munoz, Ferrer need to be better. They do. Spire's been solid. Pizarro's been solid. But really, it starts and ends with Andres Munoz. If Andres Munoz isn't the guy you need him to be, you're not going to be able to win the ball games you need to win, and you're not going to be able to go to the places you need to go. It's the same thing with Luis Castillo. Castillo needs to be a 4-starter, a 5-starter in this rotation. I need him to be able to go out there and get quality starts. That's what I need him to go do. I don't need him to go be brilliant, and the start he had today was okay. But I need this start today sort of to be like the floor. It's this or better, right? And maybe this is a step in the right direction. Velocity was up today. Stuff was up a little bit. But those breaking balls, they really need to find their groove. The changeup is the off speed, and the slider is the breaking ball. He needs to find those two pitches because he can't just be a fastball guy. Brian Wu needs to figure out whatever the hell is going on there. I haven't been able to dig into it once again. But Hancock's been fantastic. Kirby's been fantastic. And Gilbert just needs to work on the efficiency, and he can find some grooving here, I think. Lineup-wise, they need to find some consistency. It's a little bit inconsistent, but overall, I mean, if it wasn't for Leo Rivas having to start all the time, this lineup would be really freaking good. And once Brendan Donovan hopefully gets back early or late next week, I mean, I think we're talking about this lineup being really different. JP Crawford's been above average. Julio's a 115 WRC plus right now. Cal and Naylor been turning it on, and hopefully Cal's all right. We'll talk about that in a moment. But Randy's been awesome. Rayleigh's been solid. Canzone's been awesome. Young's been freaking awesome. And then you throw Donovan in there, and it's like, yeah, all right. This is a really fun group of guys. It's a really fun lineup, and you're going to be able to find your groove coming up here. And just credit to Emerson Hancock. I want to give a couple numbers on his start because it was really awesome what he did on Saturday night. I mean, I already gave you the numbers, but the 14 strikeouts is incredible. He had 35% whiff rate in the night, 21 whiffs, 32 called strike plus whiffs. Just incredible stuff. And he had 11 whiffs on the 4-seamer, 7 on the sweeper. That was a 64% whiff rate on the sweeper last night. He mixed up his stuff, throwing 56% 4-seam the first time through, eventually getting that sweeper up usage-wise, utilizing that sinker, the cutter. I mean, he's been awesome. He's been awesome, and it just continues for him. Let's talk about Cade Anderson, Colt Emerson really quickly because those two guys knocking on the door. Cade Anderson, he just needs to get that workload up. Once you start to see him go 5-6 innings and start throwing, 80 plus pitches, that's when you're like, all right, here he is knocking on the door, potentially of a starting role. In terms of a bullpen potential role for him, they're not going to do that until they might really, really need to late in the season. That is no fix right now. This is a starter. This is a guy that's going to be a positive major league starter at some point soon, and soon as next year, I would assume, if not sooner. But if there's an injury come late May, early June, I think this guy could very easily see the Mariners rotation similar to a Brian Wu, a Bryce Miller path back in 2023. In terms of Colt Emerson, I've seen a lot of people clamoring for Colt. Me and Jeff talked about this a little bit on Thursday, but it's just the strikeout numbers. I mean, even this weekend, you look at what he's done. He had a homer, he had a triple, I believe. He had some RBIs, he had hits in, I think, each game, but he also had multiple strikeouts in each game, and that's a concern. if you're striking out, 2+ times a game in AAA Tacoma, in the PCL, that's when we're talking, how do we get the bat to ball skills up that we've seen from you? And part of it's that it's a small sample so far, and that's part of why it's not time to call him up yet. But once you start see him going on a couple weeks in a row where he has, just like 3-4 strikeouts in those couple weeks with some extra base hit power, with hits where he's hitting, 340, 350 over a couple weeks, with a slug in like the 500s and an on base around like 400. 450 even, like, that's when we're like, all right, here he is. He's walking. He's showing the approach. He's not striking out. He's not really selling out for power at all. That's when we're like, all right, here's Colt Emerson. Now we're ready to see him. That's when we can start to make this move. But even his fit on the roster, especially once Donovan gets back, is going to be a little bit funky, and it's going to be interesting to see what the Mariners are going to do. It's going to be a difficult decision for this ball club, and that's something Jeff and I talked about again. Make sure you go listen to episode 149 because there was some discussion there during that episode about it, and I think that's a discussion we will continue to have in the upcoming weeks, including maybe as soon as later this week. But for those clamoring for Colt Emerson, it's not there yet. We're close. But he's just got to cut down this strikeout rate, make sure he shows that approach that we know he does have, and then the Mariners will be calling that phone. Colt Emerson will be up in the big leagues at T-Mobile Park. Let's talk about Cal for a moment. They missed the final 2 games in the Royals series, dealing with a side injury. It's very weird, the Mariners, how they're handling this. They're being very secretive about it. Originally, they weren't really saying anything. He did take swings in the cage today, which is a good sign, but it's also, for me, it's like, just don't, dude. How about no? Like, even if you feel like you can, just like take 2 days off, dude. Like, come on, man. Like, get yourself healthy. I don't want this nagging you at all. Even if you feel like you can swing, I don't need you to re-injure it at all. And is it going to take an IL stint? I hope not. It doesn't really seem like it's going to. It's something that he's going to have to sort of manage for a little bit here. But, get him off his feet. Let Garver start some here and there. Don't need to play him 7 days a week here. You don't need to play him 6 days a week right here. Let him get healthy. I don't want Cal Raleigh at 80%. And if he's dealing with an injury right now, then, you look at September and hopefully October, I want that guy healthy then. I need that guy at his very best then, because that's how the Mariners will succeed. You need Cal and Julio and Naylor to be at their very best. That's how this team will go. And that's what they've done over the past couple of weeks. But those guys got to be healthy in order to do it. I don't have a ton of thoughts about it. I think it's a type of thing where it's just we got to wait and see, and hopefully he's all good. It doesn't sound super worrying, but anything in that side area, you get worried about the oblique, and an oblique can be a really tricky injury for guys to navigate, especially someone that's a switch hitter. It can be really difficult to navigate. Someone that's a catcher, it can be really difficult to navigate. There's a lot of stress on the body, so they're going to be really careful with him. We'll see what they do. I would expect him to not need an IL stint. I would hope he plays in this Brave series. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or today, depending on when you're listening to this. But I think he'll get at least a game in the Brave series. Might not be behind the plate, but I do think he'll get at least an appearance back there. Speaking of that Brave series, let's talk about it really briefly here. The Mariners get J.R. Ritchie in game 1. The Seattle kid himself, which that'll be really cool. He's had 2 starts on his young career, 2.92 ERA in those 2 starts. It's been really solid for this Braves team, which is a squad that has dealt with a lot of injuries, as they always do, especially in that pitching staff. But the Mariners get Ritchie, Bryce Elder, Grant Holmes in this series. Elder's also been pretty solid this year, to say the least. A 1.88 ERA for him in 43 innings so far this year. None of these guys super big strikeout guys, all at 8 or below 8 strikeouts per 9. So you're not going to see the Mariners hopefully get blown away by stuff, but the concern is, weak contact. What are they going to be able to produce? But I don't think the opposing starting pitching is what we need to focus on. It's the Mariners starting pitching, and it's them facing this lineup that has a Michael Harris Jr., Drake Baldwin, a Matt Olson, and an Ozzy Albies as the first four hitters in the lineup that have been really, really fantastic to start this year. Dom Smith's been really good. Mauricio Dubon has been okay. Mariners got lucky in that Ronald Acuna Jr. just got put on the IL, so he will not appear in this series. But Matt Olson's got an OPS over 1,000. Michael Harris is WRC plusing over 150, as is Drake Baldwin. Both those guys with OPSs over 910. And both those guys striking out less than 20% of the time. So the ball's going to get put in play a lot. And it's going to be up to this Mariners pitching staff to really step up, really show out. The Mariners need a series win here. But first and foremost, let's just win one game, right? I will be back on Wednesday morning is when the episode will release. I have a special guest for that episode. And it will be something special for you guys. For those that have listened to the podcast before, you will remember when Eli Hurst, Vanderbilt commit, joined the show. I believe that was a year and a half ago, probably around a year ago. When Eli joined. He is a Vanderbilt commit for this upcoming year. He's a potential MLB draft prospect. We'll see what he has to say about himself, about the draft process, all of this. Good friend of mine. He's an awesome guy. He's a really fun listen. So for those of you that love nerdy baseball stuff, for those of you that are interested in the draft, getting more into that, understanding, how guys prep for outings, how guys think about baseball, and you want to hear someone that really knows what he's doing. He knows his ball. Eli is a great listen. So make sure you turn into that episode. It'll be me and Eli talking for, 15, 20 minutes probably. And then I will get into the normal Wednesday 3 segments. It'll be on the farm, down on the farm, around the horn, as well as Seattle Sports Wraparound, which there won't be a whole lot to talk about for that, but the other two will be a lot of fun. For those of you that listened last week, you know how much I love Luke, future MVP Stevenson, so I'm sure he will be brought up once again. But tune in then. This has been episode 150 of the Light the W podcast. Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, 5-star review, all that jazz. Go M's. Peace.